G'day, Tiny here from Off Tap Brewing. You just caught me sneaking a sneaky jug. Big brew day yesterday. I'm feeling it today. We carried on to the wee hours of the morning. So, getting up and down and going onto the beer fridge is a bit redundant today for me, I think. So we'll just bring it into the litre at a time. Sit back and chill out. Okay, I just finished watching a Craig Tube video where he started talking about you know, SJ Purr's idea on why we got into home brewing and that sort of stuff. So I might give you a bit of a background story on how I become interested in this hobby. One day the wife and I were out shopping at Big W, pretty sure it was, and we walked down the home brew aisle looking for something different, like whatever was on the other side, and she turned around and asked me, do you think we could save money if you brewed beer at home, if you did home brew? I looked at the price of the Cooper's kit there and, well, 90 bucks, I don't know. I'll do some research and I'll get back to you. I did the research, I asked a few people at my work, I jumped onto the information highway, which I call YouTube, you call it YouTube too, and found out some information and realised that, hey, I could brew good beer at home very cheaply. So I went down to my local home brew store in Beenleigh here and was speaking to Mike over the counter, and he was so helpful. Opened the kit up for me, laid it all out on the table, walked me through step by step. The more pieces and bits and bobs and liquids and powders and everything that came out of the box, the more of that come out, the more I was standoffish. I looked at it and went, nah, it's too much, man, there's too much in it. He kept assuring me, no, it's easy, it's easy. You just do this and that. I'm like, oh. So I was worried, paranoid. Put my first brew on. My kit cost me 80 bucks, fermented 30 bottles, cleaning solution, dextrose, and a tin. And he asked me, he said, what sort of beer do you like drinking? I said, Carlton Cold. He took the tin of goo that came with the kit out and put in something that he thought I would like along the beer styles that I drink. That turned out to be an okay beer, nice and cloudy, ferment, like, you know, it had all the beginner sort of traits of home brew. It tasted like home brew, as my mate said. You know, your beer tastes like home brew. Well, it is home brew. And from there I just dug my heels in and just decided that's what I was doing, and I was doing it purely for financial reasons. If I could brew and brew and brew and brew and brew and have them conditioning and coming off so I had my turnaround that I needed, I think I estimated about $260, put a couple of weeks into hardcore brewing, store the bottles, and then I'd have a couple of months of not brewing, not bottling, not worrying. Well, out of the 260 bottles, I got almost all the way there full and thought there's got to be an easier way. Someone told me about kegging, and you can have beer off tap at home. Off tap at home, beer that you make at home. Wow, that blew me away. So I invested in a keg system, bought a gas bottle, bought a couple of kegs, butchered a fridge, just a couple of holes with the drill, and made a kegerator out of a fridge. 3 taps, I think, 3 kegs, 3 taps. Was good. It was beer off tap. It was draft beer. And yeah, I just haven't looked back. And I experimented, and I did this, and I played with hops, and I played with yeasts, and I messed a few things up along the way. I tipped a few beers out because I was blasé about things. I've never had a cleaning issue. I've never had an infected batch. My problem was with fermentation temperature. In Brisbane here it gets quite hot. The tins do say, you know, you can ferment at this temperature, but it's not good. So controlled fermentation settled me down a bit and made my beers a bit more consistent. I said straight up, and I don't know why, but I noticed that you brew your best beers in winter. For some reason, the beer you brewed in winter, conditioned, and then now it's summer, was better than your beer you brewed in summer and drank in winter. Like, you know, why? YouTube, why? Why, you know? YouTube, why? CraigTube popped up. Boom, CraigTube. Been a subscriber since early on. Love his work. Like, the crap he's gone through and what he's doing for the brewing community. Showing his whole transition from kit and kilo to all grain and all the steps in between and all the help he's been getting. Mate, that's been enough for me. That's helped me in my transition. Today, all grain, I can pump out 100 litres in a day. Just have a day. Yesterday was a 100 litre brew day. It was mad. We drank rum, we drank beer, played pool, we got rained on, and rained on, and rained on, and drank beer. But had an awesome day. I was able to help my mates out with a couple of questions they had. I've got a mate now who is kit and kilo, buying wort kits, if you know what a wort kit is, and you know, spending top dollar on that sort of stuff. He's now considering stepping up to an all grain system, the mash tun, your hot liquor tun, and you know, I'm helping him in that. He's got all these questions. You know, I think some of the questions he wants to ask, he thinks are stupid, but there's no stupid questions in this. There's just people who don't know things. I was one of those people, and I've got a mathematical brain. I have to know why something does what it does. I can sit here and baffle you with big words and use things that are going to confuse the hell out of you, but your brain might not work that way. You might just want to do something because that's the way it works. You might want to just put yeast in a sugary liquid and create ethanol because that's what happens. Where I need to know why, how, what, where and why, but that's just me. But anyhow, he's going to step up and go the all grain. Proud of that. You know, and I'll be here to answer his questions. I'll be here to answer your questions. If you post questions, I've already had a couple questions asked, and I don't think they're stupid, because at one stage I didn't know the answer to them. Just because I know the answer now doesn't mean that person's stupid for not knowing the answer to the question. You got to ask, you got to start somewhere. So I'll be doing some really easy to follow videos on how things work. Hydrometers, there's hundreds of videos out there on hydrometers. I'll be doing videos, hopefully I can give you some information that unlocks something else you heard in the past, and you go, oh, that's right. I've done it heaps of times. I've watched a video on all grain. I think there's a guy on there I watched early on, and he was all graining and kegging, and it just confused the crap out of me. And then I watched somebody else's video, and I remembered what he'd said and gone, oh. So, you know, hopefully I can do that for you. Hopefully I can just drop that little bit of information that unlocks everything else you've heard around you. And, you know, so we're just going to dumb shit down, drink beer, have a good time. And, yeah, cheers to Mrs. Tiny for asking the question. Will home brew save us money? I've still got the house. So, you know, I think the fear I had of starting the home brew kit is far outweighed now by the fear I have walking into a local liquor store like Dad Murphy's, BWS, Liquor Barn or whatever, Thirsty Camel, and paying $48 to $50 for 30 cans of crap beer. Lager, bitter shit. Like, that's pretty scary. That's a lot of money. $50 these days will do me, well, the way I brew now, shit, $50, that's a 20 litre batch cost me $12.50. Hops, grain, everything included. So 50 litres is, $50 is a lot of beer, man. A lot of beer. But, you know, that's just the way I buy my stuff. I buy it in bulk. And yeah, that's where I've moved to. From the kit to pallets of grain coming up just for me. Just to play around with. Just to, you know, freezer full of hops. Just to play with and drink and, you know, sell to my mates. So we'll see where that takes us. But yeah, everyone jumps into things for their different reasons. Mine was homebrew, purely financial. Purely financial. I learnt to live with the taste. Luckily it got better. Luckily I had mates come over and they'd be like, oh, it tastes like... I had a mate that, the same guy that's just jumping into all grain now, he's considering going home today to talk to his wife about being able to set up a system, was like, nah, don't want to drink your beer. Nah, don't want to drink your beer. I'd have another mate come down, oh yeah, tastes like homebrew. But he'd still drink it and tastes like homebrew. It is. If you tasted my beer today, it'd blow him away. But yeah, lost the point there. It's hard to ramble on. It's hard to, with the hangover, with a big night and on the rums and the hard. But yeah, he didn't want to try homebrew, but as I got better, I got him to have some, and he liked it. And he's got his own keg system. He, you know, wants to get into all grain. Thumbs up, oopsie. That's the way to do it, man. And yeah, go the home brew. Nowadays when I go to a liquor barn or whatever, Dan Murphy's has a really good range of beer. Nowadays I go in there and I'll spend $90 on a carton for 24 330ml stubbies imported from somewhere, and I have no drama doing that because I'm not paying $45 or $50 to buy 3 cartons to see me through the week. So once a month or once every now and then I might go and get a bottle of something, one for me, one for the wife, and we'll sit down and we'll have a great night trying them. I think Friday night we spent $98, got some good beers, got some crap beers. You know, I've got probably $30 worth of beer there that I'm throwing out because just, for me it's undrinkable. And she agrees, so out the door it goes. But to do that once a month or every couple of months, that's good. That's fine. It's cheaper because I'm offsetting my cost. But one other thing that I've noticed, and I'm going to keep saying this, beer makes you smarter if you allow it. If you can sit down and drink a beer not just to get drunk, if you can sit down, drink a beer and pull apart its flavours, pull apart the complexity of what the brewer tried to do for you in that beer, work out why all that stuff's happening, you know, you're starting to get smart from drinking beer. You know, you're analysing it, you're using your brain. Beer makes you smarter. That's a no-brainer. Or it is a brainer because you're using your brain. Starting to ramble. It's hard, as I said, and I'm hungover. hair of the dog, blue dog IPA, hair of the dog, hair of the cat, hair of the dog, anyhow. Alright, not to ramble anymore, I've got a little bit of footage from yesterday's brew day uploading now, and then I'm going to render this one and upload this for you guys. Yeah, thanks to the people that are subscribing to my channel. I'm really impressed with how well it's going already after a week. So yeah, thanks to everyone that watches the videos. I appreciate it. Give me the thumbs up. I'll give a thumbs up to you. And yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully we can learn and drink and do beer stuff together. I love it. Alright. This is Tiny out. Remember, beer makes you smarter.